So, um, you'll never guess what happened because it never happens. I messed up. So what you're watching right now is me playing Flow. But what you won't realize is that my voice right now is not live. I recorded the whole thing. It's like 42 minutes long, some bullshit length like that. And the microphone wasn't on. So now I'm watching myself play Flow whilst recording this audio. And I severely dislike myself for doing so, because this just means I have to add probably a whole extra hour onto the whole process. But you know what? It's super fun. And I definitely won't be bringing up the fact that this isn't live again in the video, so definitely don't prepare yourself for that, exactly that to happen. But anyway, yeah, I guess this means I can fix some things I missed in that one, so let's get started. Imagine I haven't said anything so far. Alright, how's it going, fellow food eaters? I'm going to be greeting you guys like that from now on, so get used to it, mate. Yeah. What we're going to talk about in this episode is video games, specifically like video games that I have sort of, I guess, in a way shaped who I am. I don't know, just life experiences. I'll be looking back to when I used to live in Townsville, so when I was probably 5 years old, 6 years old, the gist. Before we get into it, I'm starting a new thing. So, do you remember last time how I asked you all if you had your hats on? Well, this time, what I'm going to ask is, are you wearing a good pair of pants? Because it really calls for it this episode. You really need a good pair of pants. And I'm not just saying that. You really do need a good pair of pants. I tried watching it back, even without audio. Having a bad pair of pants on it was not good. Alright. Okay, going back to what I said before. It's kind of stressing me out because I'm watching the timer tick up and I know how long I have to fit everything in, but I don't know if I'm going to have to rush through it or take it easy. I guess we can just start and keep an eye on the time. So we're 3 minutes in now and I haven't even started. Alright, let's jump into it, shall we? So I've sort of got I don't want to say script because it's not that, but I've got a list, because I've noticed my videos have been very, not hit or miss, but sort of, I lose track of what I'm saying all the time because I'm focusing too hard on flow. So I'm thinking this will be how I do it from now on, but it's just a matter of fitting everything into knowing how long to record the gameplay for and such and that. But yeah, let's just get started. So my earliest memories of video games are playing with my cousins in Townsville on their PlayStation 1. And a game I remember playing a lot was Time Splitters, which is like a first-person shooter. You can be pretty funky characters. I don't remember a lot about the game, but it was sort of... It was fun to sort of be there with my cousins playing it. They were obviously a lot better because they were older and all that jazz, but that was one thing I really remember about when I was younger. And then also what came with that was the game Time Crisis, which me and my brother played a lot in arcades whenever we could find it, but we didn't get it on... I think we had it on PS2 actually, but I do remember playing it on a console. And I remember we had this crappy sort of desktop computer where we played all these real dodgy sort of, not dodgy, but just not amazingly well done computer games. So there was this game called Chicken Invaders, which was basically like Space Invaders, but the levels sort of progressed and got harder and harder, and you can upgrade your guns and you could upgrade your ship and all that sort of stuff. Speaking of birds, actually, we played Sitting Ducks for the PC, which was a lot of fun. I never played it. My brother played it and I watched him, which will become a reoccurring theme throughout this episode. Yeah, a lot of games I watched my brother play and I didn't actually play myself. I don't know if that's relatable or not, but I preferred to sit there and watch him play. I didn't like to do it myself. And yeah, we'll find that that's a reoccurring theme. One big game from this sort of era was The Game of Life. We got it for free in, I think, a Red Rooster meal or something like that. And me and my brother was... excuse me. It's pretty late right now. Me and my brother and my sister played it a lot. Even though we didn't really know what we were doing. We just sort of... yeah. Mucked around. It was fun. We had a good time. And Commando was another game. It was like a 2D sort of 8-bit side-scroller game, like a platforming shooter, I guess you could say. And you like... oh, whoops. You had a certain amount of time to complete each level. A certain amount of lives to complete each level, and you'd make it to checkpoints, and you'd get to the end and all that stuff. And it was a lot of fun, but I've tried playing it again recently, and I'm very not good at it, and apparently I don't want to put in the time. Other computer games we played a lot of the sort of online games that were really like, not low grade, but you didn't pay for them, they were free to play, so you like sites like Miniclip and Crazy Monkey Games that had like lots of just games that me and my brother played like a lot of. One game I played a lot of was Uphill Rush, which is like, there's a couple of different levels. There's one with a motorbike, there's one with a skateboard, there's one with a monster truck, there's one with a jet ski, I think. I'm not really sure. Yeah. So that was fun. Something I forgot to mention. PS1 games. Me and my sister specifically really liked to play like car racing games. So we had two big ones with the PS1. We had Vanishing Point, which I'm pretty sure doesn't really exist anymore. That hasn't been released again. There's no Vanishing Point 2. And Gran Turismo, which was like the step up from it. It was basically just a better version of the same game. They're both car racing games. Me and my sister loved them. It was a great time. So when we moved to Canberra, which is where I live now, we bought a PlayStation 2. And we didn't get really into it straight away because we got a couple of games and they were fun to play. The games we got were Shrek 2, Simpsons Hit and Run, Crash Bandicoot Racer, and SingStar, which we played a lot with our family. But the games that we played the most were Shrek 2 and Simpsons Hit and Run. Now, Simpsons Hit and Run is just a classic game, and it was another one of those ones where I would watch my brother play it and never play it myself. I only started playing it when I became much older, but when we first had it, I refused to play it, and I would much rather watch my brother do it because he was better than me, and I enjoyed it more. Like, I got to watch the story and not have to play any of the challenges or stuff like that. So that Shrek 2 was a multiplayer game. So, like, local multiplayer. So, me and my brother beat that several times. We'd always play the same characters because it was just, like, a rule that we had. We always played the same characters. I don't really know why. Excuse me. Then we got games like Ratchet & Clank and Jak and Daxter, which, once again, were games that I never played. I just watched him play. And I'm basically saying the same thing again, but I much preferred watching him play, because like he knew what he was doing. He like had more of an understanding for the controls, I guess is my excuse. He just seemed to enjoy the gameplay more than I did, and I enjoyed watching the gameplay. And it was just like, same thing as before, like I got to watch the story and not have to play it, you know what I mean? And I loved that. Like, it was so much fun. Now, these next couple of games are games that me and my brother played a lot, and then, sorry, let's talk about that first. So, Metal Slug and Lego Batman. So, Metal Slug was a game that we found in an arcade, and he played for like hours and hours because we kept finding coins to give to him. And then one day we saw it in, I think, a Target maybe? I don't know. Some shop. And it was like all 7 Metal Slug games on the PS2 for like $20. And so we begged mum and dad, we put in some of our own money and we bought it. It's like $20 when we were, 8 and 9 years old. Was a lot of money to drop on a game, but I can't tell you how many hours we played on that. Like, it was insane. We loved it so much. And it was just like a 2D side-scrolling shooter, similar to Commando, I guess. But it was just, I don't know what it was about that game. It was so much fun. So there was that. And Lego Batman was another game that me and him played a lot. Solving those puzzles was so much fun. And he was obviously a lot better at it than I was, but it was still, it was awesome, like, spending that time with my brother. I know that sounds really, I don't know, I do appreciate that time, like, it was good. Now, SmackDown vs. Raw, that is a game that I played. That was, like, the first game that I played on my own for hours and hours and hours. Specifically 2007. A lot of people find that surprising. I even find that surprising. 2007 was the first one we owned, but we also owned 2009 and 2010. But I couldn't get into those like I could to 2007. I don't know why. It wasn't the same. But yeah, 2007 I clocked so many hours, and I liked it so much that what I would do is I'd set up last man standing matches, and I'd play as Kane versing like Rey Mysterio, a small wrestler, and I'd get them to the point where they'd be on the ground and the ref would start counting, but I would go hit the person lying down, so then they'd have to stop counting and wait for them to get back up, and the matches would go for hours, to the point where I'd be like, alright, now I'm bored, I have to win this game. But I loved it. It was amazing. And I don't really know why I loved it so much, but I just sort of did. Now, we got a Wii around maybe 2013. No, it would have been way before that. No, it was like 2010 or 2011, I think, maybe. Maybe even earlier than that, I don't know. But obviously we played a lot of Wii Sports. Me and my brother found that so much fun. I don't really know why, but yeah. There were 2 games that me and my brother played a lot on the Wii, and that was Super Mario Bros., which we completed. It was such a fun game, playing co-op. And this game called Ghost Squad, which was another game we found in an arcade once. But we sort of saw it there for Wii, and then we just bought it and started playing it. And it only had 3 levels. It was like that sort of thing where if you died, you could select continue. And it was like, if it was an arcade machine, you'd have to put in more coins, but because it wasn't, you could just continue playing. But yeah, it was... We played it so much because you did the same 3 levels over and over again, but you could unlock new guns, all that stuff. It was a lot of fun. It was great. we clocked a lot of hours on that as well, which is pretty cool. That's all I can really say. I remember Connor, my older brother, got pro on bowling on Wii Sports, and that was pretty cool. He had like a different coloured ball and all that. It was pretty fun. How far into the video are we? 15 minutes. Alright, we're doing alright. Doing alright for time. I'm about a third of the way through the stuff I want to talk about. We're about a third of the way through the video. We'll get through it, I'm sure. I'll rush the ending. If there's like 10 minutes left and I've got a lot to talk about, I'll rush through it. So this now takes me to when we got our Xbox 360. Now this is when the gaming became such a much bigger part of sort of what me and my brother were doing, especially. So it was Christmas of 2011 and we got an Xbox with Battlefield 3. Now, we didn't know a lot about Battlefield 3, but we still enjoyed it. So Christmas Day, we spent a lot of time playing Battlefield 3. But it was the next day for Boxing Day that we got Call of Duty. So we bought Black Ops and I think Modern Warfare 3. We got Modern Warfare 2 shortly after, but Modern Warfare 3 was the first one we got. And it was like, we played the campaign obviously, but it was the multiplayer that sort of got a hold of us. We put so much time and effort into the multiplayer. So there was that. And the survival mode, which was like a whole new survived against waves of enemies that got progressively harder. And we enjoyed that. That was a lot of fun. But what I liked most about the Call of Duty franchise was in Black Ops, the zombies mode. Because I've been watching lots of YouTubers like Tom Syndicate and I think Ali A. I know he does Fortnite now, but at the time he was doing a lot of zombies videos. And when we first got Black Ops, we only had the 2 maps, Kino and 5. And I absolutely adore Kino to Toten. Like, it's such a good map, and it's so simple, but it's so, I don't know, it does what it's meant to do. Like, there's no fancy tricks or anything like that. And it's still my favourite zombies map to this day. But yeah, I just absolutely adore it. Like, that sort of game mode of like surviving and you gotta, one up yourself and beat your best score the next day sort of thing. I love that. And excuse me. Very sorry, I'm yawning so much. It's so late right now. It's really not that late. I just didn't get much sleep. It's like, what's the time? 20 past 11. Goodness me. So yeah, Call of Duty was a big sort of part to the start of the gaming. But then March of 2012, my brother bought Skyrim. So it had been out for about 4 or 5 months. But yeah, he bought Skyrim. And it was one of those games where at first I didn't get into it, but as soon as I did get into it, I just could not stop myself. I don't think I took a proper break from Skyrim until maybe 2014 or 2015. So a full 3 years I was just always playing that game, always wanting to play that game, always going back to it. And so I distinctly remember this. The first world I created was an Argonian. I think I named him Jack, so original. And I didn't really know what I was doing, and I wasn't really doing anything to progress the story. I maybe played that world for maybe 2 hours, and then I just sort of gave up because I didn't enjoy it, and I had no idea what to do. But I watched my brother play a little bit, and I started my own world, where I was an orc, and his name was Juterio, which my mate still, to this day, one of my friends, reckons is such a cool name for a Skyrim character. I think so too. I'm proud that I came up with it. But yeah, he's an orc named Jatirio, and that was a character that I played for a very long time. So what would happen was, I was in year 7 at the time, and I was playing rugby that year, and what would happen was, every Saturday I'd wake up without fail at 2 a.m. in the morning, and I'd just play Skyrim until it was time to go. Like, I just would always do it. I'd always find myself playing Skyrim for 6 hours at a time. It was just one of those things that I just did. And I played it so much that by the time I got level 100 smithing, which was like a big achievement for us because none of us had done it so far. I was the first in the house to do it, and it was hard to do. At level 100 smithing, I went and woke up my sister, brought her out to the lounge room where the Xbox was, and showed her that I had dragon armor. Like, it was absolutely crazy. But yeah, no, I'm in love with that game. I still play it today. I don't play it as much because I've like done everything in the game. But in saying that, I still have never beaten it. But, you know, the end of my Jatirio character was, I discovered a glitch. Or I didn't discover it, I looked up a glitch with the Ogma Infinium that you can basically instantly get your character to level 81. And so I put all the perks in, all that stuff, and then it wasn't fun anymore. Like, you just couldn't do anything past that. And so, yeah. Oh well, it was a fun world. It's long gone, but it was a good time. Anything else I can talk about Skyrim? I could have a conversation with someone about Skyrim for just hours and hours and hours. Like, there's so much to talk about. Yeah, no, it's good. I guess I can talk about... So Jatirio was an orc, obviously, and he was like a warrior build. So I think I used dual-wield swords and occasionally used two-handed weapons. I don't know why this is important. I've sort of looked down at the time. It's only been 22 minutes. And I haven't got a lot more to talk about after this. I don't know, we'll get through everything, and then I'll see if I can fill anything out for the rest of the video. Otherwise, you just have to watch Silent Flow gameplay, which is so riveting. I know it's exciting, but we'll see how we go. Alright. Borderlands 2. That was a game I bought at the end of year 8. So, or was it the end of year 7? Did it come out 2013? I don't remember. Yeah. It was one of those games that I bought and played with one of my friends, and we clocked a lot of time on that. And I don't know why, he took it very seriously, but he did. And I sort of jumped on that train, and I played it a lot, and I got into it and all that stuff, and it was so much fun, and then it just sort of fizzled out. But I'm slowly playing through it now, because I recently bought a PlayStation 4, and I'm playing through that on the PS4 on my own, and it's fun. I'm enjoying it. Like, it's a good game. Has its merit. Yeah. No, it's great. Another game I played a lot was Saints Row 3, or Saints Row the Third, which I thoroughly enjoyed again. It's one of those games that it clicked with me. I played it a lot. I beat it several times. Good fun. Now we're talking about computer games. So when I was younger, I told you I had that crappy desktop. We had games like Age of Empires, Age of Mythology, and Rise of Nations, which are all sort of like point and click strategy games. And then Age of Empires was the first we had, shortly after we got Age of Mythology. And those two games were very similar, but they were just, I don't know, I fell in love with that type of game. It was so much fun. I was never that good at it, but yeah, no, it was just so much fun. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I only have fond memories of those games. Like, it's it's just one of those things that I'll always look back on fondly. Age of Mythology as well. Rise of Nations. Now that's an interesting game because you go right from like the Stone Age to the modern era where there's like tanks and planes and bombers and stuff like that. And so the games themselves can take up to like an hour, 2 hours, but it's so much fun. And I said this in the last recording actually, one game I never got into was Civilizations, which I think I'd like to give it a go, but recommend it to me if you think it's good. Like, I have heard people say it's good, but if any of my close friends tell me it's good, then I'll be more likely to give it a go, I guess. Minecraft was another big game for me because my brother, I think we got it in 2011, so like a year after it came out, or less than a year, maybe 6 months after it came out, and he had got like a bootleg copy off his friend, and he brought it home just on a USB one day, and me and my brother and my sister loved it so much. Like, we all played it. It was like Skyrim. We all just wanted to play it all the time. And so it was weird though, we'd all sort of copy each other. Like, one person would do something in their go, and then when it was the next person's go, they'd just do the exact same thing. And I don't know why that's how we did it, but it was fun and we enjoyed it. And then we started like downloading mods that meant we could add stuff to our inventory, and this was before creative mode came out, so we'd have to use mods to do stuff. So that was fun. Every house we ever built at first was like just a hole in the side of a mountain where you dig out windows and stuff. And it's a much simpler game than it is now. I play it now and it's like so complex, but back then it was, no, there wasn't really much to it. So there's that, Minecraft. Now CSGO is a game that I got recommended to me by one of my mates, and we sort of just started playing that just to have a laugh. But he was sort of big into it, and so I got big into it. And we started off just playing against bots because I was nervous to play against real people. But once we eventually got to a point where we started playing comp matches all the time, and it was so much fun. Like, I loved that game, and I want to get back into it, but we don't really have a computer that can run it in our house, and I can't afford a good PC at the moment. So it's one of those things where maybe later down the track I'll have to get back into it, but until then, Epic Styles, my guy. I won't be playing it. I don't know why I just said that. Anyway, another game that I just remembered that I talked about in the first recording of this, GTA San Andreas. Now, the reason I loved that game so much was because the way I played it was, I never played the story of that game, but I easily clocked like 50 to 100 hours, like somewhere in that thing. Because what I would do was, I'd just put on my own music and just cruise around the map, like discovering everything, finding out where everything was, sort of thing. Like, I never really wanted to do the story. It was like, I just wanted to cruise around, so I pretty much learned every corner of that map, every bit. Like, you could drop me in any area. Even to this day, I reckon I could recognize all the different stuff. Now, I've got written there YouTube, but it wasn't really a long segment, but I guess I could talk about it. So, like I mentioned before, I loved watching other people play games. Like, I didn't like doing it myself because I wasn't very good. And so what would happen was I'd end up just watching a playthrough of it on YouTube. One of the biggest ones I can remember watching and loving, like really loving, was The Last of Us. I watched a playthrough of that, and the game was just phenomenal. to this day, I'm still disappointed in the ending, but the game itself is just amazing from start to finish, and I have not played a single minute of it. That's what I love about it, is I've experienced the game, but I haven't played it, because I'm not very good, and I don't think I'd enjoy it as much if I, like, just kept dying or kept losing. And that's what I love about YouTube playthroughs, is these people who are much more qualified to play these games because they're just good at them. Then it's just enjoyable for me to watch them. I don't know if anyone relates to that. I think a lot more normal people prefer to watch it and play it themselves. But yeah. More recently, I watched a playthrough of Super Mario Odyssey, which is a phenomenal game. But once again, I don't have a Nintendo Switch, so I haven't played it for myself. But I know what happens, and I know that it's a good game. It's like one of those things where I'm just like, I know. What makes it even better, the channel I watched are on Super Mega, which if you don't watch, definitely get on that. They are hilarious. I just find them so funny. Yeah, I don't know. Get on it. I'm approaching the end of what I've got, and I'm only 31.5 minutes. I hope there's no blank footage. Maybe I'll just find something to talk about. God knows. Another game I watched, Resident Evil 7. I forgot to talk about it. The reason I watched it, like, it is completely different, but the reason I watched it is because me and my brother played Resident Evil 5 on the Xbox, which was a lot of fun playing co-op. It's a great game. I definitely recommend it. But Resident Evil 7, completely different concept. It's such like a reimaginization, not remastered, but it's like, it's a completely different engine. It's all first person instead of third person. It's all like survival horror. I mean, I guess the Resident Evil 5 was, but it's presented in such a different way. Yeah, no, it's a great game. I love watching it. It's like genuinely terrifying. Like, there's so much to it that you just like, holy shit. Like, you feel, I don't want to say you feel like you're there, because it's like supernatural still, and it's like unrealistic, but it's like, it's so genuine and so authentic that it's like, yeah, no, it's fantastic. Would recommend. And Catherine as well, which is like got the Japanese anime style animations, cartoons, and it's like the game where you pull out the blocks and climb up them up to the top to defeat the bosses each day, and it's about like facing your responsibilities and all that stuff as an adult, and it's a bit messed up, but it's a cool game. Now, well, it's probably going to be boring, but let's talk about Flow. I've got one more thing to talk about after this, but we'll talk about Flow. Flow is a very simple game. As you can see, you join the colours, but it's what I have been playing it since I was in year 7, so I think I mentioned this in the video, but like 7 years now, 6 years, 7 years, something like that. And as simple as it is, it has always been a game that I just whip out and start playing, like, no matter where I am. I've never gotten bored of it. I don't know what it is about that game that I love so much, but I just do. I remember in year 8, there was such a competition between me and one of my friends to try and get through the levels the fastest, and we will be like, oh, I'm better than you. No, I'm not. I can do this level faster. Look how far I am through the game. And it like had this real good competition around it, believe it or not. Yeah, and it was fantastic. Now, this might take us to the end of the video. Let's see. We got about 7 minutes left. Let's see if I can talk about this for 7 minutes. Now, you guys probably going to hear this and be like, excuse me, what the fuck, Jack? But a game that I absolutely adore and have for the better part of my life and will always cherish a game that I want to get tattoos of. Pokemon. Now I know what you're going to say. Jack, you freaking gay lord. That's so gay. Kill yourself. Think about this for a second. I don't know what I'm about to say, so let me just talk and then you can think about it. The first experience I had with Pokemon was my brother had a Game Boy Advanced SP with Pokemon Emerald version. He got it. Then I would always watch him play it. And he also got Pokemon Leaf Green shortly after. And the same thing happened. I'd always watch him play it. I loved watching him play it, but I myself never played it. Then, Christmas of 2007, I got a DS Lite with Pokemon Diamond version. So it was Gen 4. It was the first Pokemon game I'd ever played. And I fell in love with it. And I cannot talk highly enough of that game. It was a game that I could relate to. I loved the characters. I loved the Pokemon. I never played it, though, thinking about what Pokemon types I'd pick. I just picked Pokemon that I thought were cool. Which I find there's a lot of arguments about these days between Pokemon elitists. But yeah, no, I absolutely love the game. It's still, to this day, like my favourite video game ever. Like, I just absolutely adore it. I played Soul Silver and Pokemon Black, but I just didn't like those games as much as Diamond. Like, there's just something about it. Even Pokemon Platinum version, which is like sort of the conglomeration of the two, I didn't even enjoy as much as Diamond. I don't know what it is about that game. I just absolutely adored it. And I've played through it so many times. And the three starters, obviously, Chimchar, Turtwig, and Piplup. And Chimchar was always my favourite. I always gravitated towards him. And I love him so much that I want to get a picture of him tattooed on my leg, which sounds ridiculous, but it's something that I really want to get. So there's that. I've played through it that many times that I know the whole story off by heart. I could tell you the names of all the cities. I could, all that sort of stuff. One thing that happened though, I've lost my DS cartridge for that game. So I've had like one laptop where I downloaded a bunch of DS emulators until they worked. Got so many viruses just so I could play Pokemon Diamond version because I lost the DS cartridge. It's so sad, but I lost it. But I have played it through so many times, even on my laptop. It's a phenomenal game. I love it from start to finish. We have the book that's sort of like the Pokemon user guide manual, I guess, and all that. I used to take it to school, like especially in primary school. I used to take it to school for silent reading and just read through it because that was fun back in them days. Yeah, I cannot talk highly enough of that game. That game was like my childhood. I used to take it to my friend's house and we'd just sit there and play Pokemon. I think my mate who was really into Pokemon also had Diamond version, so it was very connected us on this spiritual level. Yeah, we used to have sleepovers where we just played Pokemon the whole time. It was great. I loved it. Yeah, what I used to do was the highest evolution of Chimchar's Infernape. What I'd do is I'd go through the game, beat the Elite Four, trade it to my brother's DS, start a new game, trade it back to my DS, and so I just used that again. I think I did that 3 times, and it was a lot of fun. Yeah, no, I have so many fond memories of that game. Hey, look, only a couple minutes left. Another game I had on the DS was FIFA 2008, which I played a lot of, And what me and my brother would do is we'd make up funny teams and call them all characters from like The Simpsons, or give them all wrestlers' names and put their stats up to full, and then just smash every other team. Like we'd play over local area network. We'd be on the same team, stuff like that. That was a lot of fun. What else did I play? Oh, I had a Game Boy. I still have the Game Boy, and we had real weird games like Monsters Inc. and Lilo and Stitch and stuff like that, which were pretty fun in their own way, but yeah. No, it was pretty good. What else did I have on the Game Boy? I had... Just trying to think. We had the Incredible Hulk, but I never really played that. That was too hard to get my head around. Just trying to think. Sorry, bear with me. I am just trying to fill out the time, by the way. So, if you want to stop watching now, it's not going to get any more interesting. So go for it, mate. I should look through them. Oh, we had the original like Super Mario Bros. And Zelda on Game Boy, and they were pretty fun. I didn't get too deep into them, but they were fun. I enjoyed that. Donkey Kong Country 2 we had on Game Boy. That was a lot of fun. That's all I can really think of. I remember my sister got a Game Boy Micro. Oh shit, the recording's about to run out. Alright, well, thank you for listening. Sorry this is an abrupt ending, but I've got to finish up here. Love you all, my fellow food eaters. Stay healthy, keep on going, and yeah, I'll see you next time. Love you all. Have a lovely night. Bye.